What's going on YouTube? This is Parrot, founder of Parrot CTFs. Today we will be doing Blogger by Cypress. Blogger is a PHP blog vulnerable to XXE. We will then use XXE to gain remote code execution. Once we gain access to the system, we will then perform privilege escalation via LD preload. Without further ado, let's hop right on in. First things first, let's make sure we are connected to the VPN, and we are. In this case, this is a professional labs, so this will be this VPN right here. So first things first, we'll want to run an nmap scan. Because nmap scans take a little while to run, I've gone ahead and ran that. So let's just go ahead and cat that nmap scan. Looks like there are two ports open. We got port 22 and port 80. We'll also notice that it is an Ubuntu system. Looks like Apache HTTPD 2.4 is here, and some version of SSH. So usually SSH doesn't have anything right off the bat, so we'll just go ahead and target port 80. I like to go ahead and open up Burp Suite. I have Burp Suite Professional. You can do everything in this video on Community Edition. That's totally fine. Let's go ahead and open up a new project, and we'll call it Blogger. Oh, looks like Burp did not like that location. That's fine. Let's just do it right here in our home. All right, let's go ahead and go to proxy and open up browser. I like to use Burp Suite right off the bat because it will gather a sitemap for us. So let's go ahead and grab this IP address here. And open that in our browser. And it's already loading stuff up. Let's go ahead and set the scope. That way, none of this extra stuff is getting logged. Show only in-scope items. There we go. All right, now let's play around with this and see if we can find anything of interest. Looks like that's not found. Doesn't look like there is anything here. That's also not found. And this just goes to the themes page. Nothing there. Let's go ahead and look at the search function. Show all. Oh, looks like that went to a different URL. Let's make sure that we go back here. And let's use this functionality here. All right, cool. Looks like there's some dynamic functionality here. What I like to do when there is dynamic functionality is I like to put a bunch of special characters in there and see if we get any interesting responses back. Looks like we didn't. Since we know this is XXE, let's throw some various things in here. And looks like there's nothing there. Okay. So the next step that I usually like to do here is let's capture this specific request. And there we go. Went ahead and captured that. And let's send that to repeater. And let's go ahead and go to payloads, all the things. And let's grab some XXE payloads. Again, because we know it's XXE, we can go ahead and throw some payloads in there. Let's find XXE. And then we can go ahead and just throw a classic XXE in there. And what this specific payload is going to do is, this is an XML payload. It's going to use the system command and try and grab this file. And let's see if we found anything of interest in here. So there's quite a lot of code here. Doesn't look like that specific payload worked. That's interesting. Let's see if we can just throw this directly in the browser. And let's see if that makes a difference. We will need to turn intercept off. Let's go ahead and up, and looks like we got XXE here. Awesome. But before we go ahead and try and get remote code execution, it is a good idea to run some directory brute forces and see if we can find anything else that may help us in our journey here. I would like to note down that there is the Jimmy user here. Because we got the Etsy password, we won't find any actual passwords, but we can find more information about the system, such as there is a Jimmy user. SSH, LXD is on the system. Looks like there's some IRC stuff here, www data, nothing else of interest here. That's fine. Let's use GoBuster here. Looks like I have a previous command here that I've used before. And this is .123. So we'll do .123. And what this command is doing is, this is GoBuster, a directory brute forcer. We're going to put the command dir or directory, and that will instruct this tool to do a directory brute force on this target. We're going to go ahead and pass this word list there. This is the directory list lowercase medium, which is fine. And we'll go ahead and let that run. So looks like right off the bat we found a management directory, which is pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and see what we can find in management. I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate this tab. That way we have the same payload there. And there is directory listing enabled. So let's go ahead and navigate these directories, see if we can find anything of interest. There's an admin topic here. There's an issue here. So it looks like this is some sort of ticketing management system without authentication. So many users are copying their .ssh directories and placing them in other places. We'll have to pull an emergency meeting. Okay, that is interesting. Looks like there's some bits of information there. Some employees. And because we found Jimmy over here, we can go ahead and ignore the rest of them for now. And let's just look at Jimmy's. There's a notes.txt. Remind Jimmy that he has an SSH backup file here in his home directory. Looks like he's doing some time fraud too. Okay, so because there is a backup file here, let's see if we can go ahead and grab that file. Let's open up a text editor really quick so we can grab our payload. Let's go ahead and grab that there, and our classic XXE did work, so we can just use that classic payload. And let's do home Jimmy SSH ID underscore RSA dot back. And then I'm going to write this to notes.txt, cat notes.txt, and let's go ahead and grab this. Oh, that did not grab that well. Alias cat equals cat, catnotes.txt. There we go. Alright. Now let's go ahead and enter this in here. And it looks like we got our private key. So, because this is an SSH private key, we can grab this, pull that to our local system. Vim ID underscore RSA blogger. I don't like using Vim for this actually. Let's use Nano. That way our formatting is proper here. Oh, there we go. And then because it's a key, we will need to put the right permissions on it. All right, we can go ahead and stop this. We're not going to find anything else of interest there. Okay, so we noticed before here that there is SSH enabled, and we have our SSH key. So our next step here is going to be to try and log in. That is not the right IP address. Let's do 10.15.0.123 and see if we can log in. Looks like that is... Ooh. Okay, looks like we have the wrong permissions on that file. Let's do change mod. See if that works. Bad permissions. Okay, in this case, let's go ahead and look up what Linux permissions should an SSH key file have. 700, private key should be 600. Wonder if I just did that wrong. Change mod 600. Let's see if that works now. Alright, looks like that works. The issue I was having was that I was putting that plus sign in there. Guess that's a habit. But now we have access to the system. Let's go ahead and do a sudo tag L. And it looks like we can close that. Looks like we have the environment keep and LD preload enabled here. So this is a pretty interesting privilege escalation technique. Looks like we can also run ping as sudo with no password. So what we are going to do here, there is our word count tag L user.txt. Looks like there's our user flag. So let's go ahead and make a directory called testing. That way we can create our C file here. Now I'm going to pull up a file that I have over here already. And then I'll explain that to you. Let me go ahead and find that. It'll be a C file, and we are going to compile that C file into a shared object. And then we will run that and gain root access. So this is a standard C file here. Let's do shell.c unset environment preload, and then it's going to execute bin bash here, and it's going to set these root UID and GID here, and these are just some standard libraries. All right, Now we will need to compile this with GCC. Do FPIC. We're going to be compiling a shared object. And we will output that shared object into shell.so. And we are compiling shell.c. And we will add the option here. No start files. And it looks like we have our shared object file here. So now all we need to do is do sudo ld preload is equal to shell.so, and then we'll do user bin ping, because we can run that as sudo with no password. And looks like that did not work. So most likely because we did not have the full path here. Let's do Jimmy home home Jimmy testing shell.so, and there we go. We are now root. If we go in our home directory here, we now have the root.txt. We'll do word count tag L root.txt, and we have rooted the system. So that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed.